Alright, welcome ladies and gents. We're here to talk about Godzilla Minus One's budget. Because a lot of people have been reporting it is $15 million, but the director has come out and thrown some water on that. In fact, it's looking a lot less than $15 million. So we're going to dive into that today. Hit subscribe if you enjoy content such as this. No worries if not, no pressure. But let's take a look. And I think a bit of background is important. So Godzilla Minus One has shattered another box office record as the film expands and extends theatrical run. So I've kind of covered this already, but it's important for setting the stage for why the budget... I mean, the budget is phenomenally great anyway. Even if it was $15 million, of which it's not, but even if it was, it would be an exceptionally, amazing feat what they've done. Such a great achievement what they've done with such a small budget. But this is, so over on December 5th, Godzilla Minus One made history on Monday as it grossed $1.23 million in the US and claimed the #1 spot at the box office, which is the first time that a non-English live-action film has accomplished such a feat in 19 years. Now, I think what's so exceptional about this is it then continued. Because, you could look at that and say, oh, well, that's just because there's nothing else coming out. Well, it continued, ladies and gents. There's a movie releasing this weekend, I think. Maybe it's next weekend. I'm pretty certain it's this weekend. And that's Wonka. Yeah, so I just double checked. Yes, Wonka is releasing this weekend. In fact, it released yesterday. But what was the #1 ticket seller for the week so far? Godzilla Minus One. Now, obviously, this is just Fandango, but Fandango is still a part of the business. It's still selling things. It's still selling these movie tickets. #1 ticket seller for the week, Godzilla Minus One. Yeah, and then they expanded to 2,500 screens. I think they added about 300 screens, essentially. But it's not just that, because obviously that was December 7th, but it continued even further. So on December 7th, they added another $1.36 million to Godzilla Minus One's running total. That's crazy. So that would put it at $15.7 million just US. Just US. So that, totally 15.7. They're saying $15 million to produce. Again, we've got confirmation now that's actually not the budget. It's significantly less. And it's set to break $20 million by Saturday, which is incredible. Absolutely incredible. But again, this is kind of the background. Just wanted to add that, why it is doing so well. When I say it's crushing Hollywood, it really is. Because a lot of people said, well, it's only done $15 million or $11 million when it first came out in the US. It was released in Japan before that. This has crossed well over $40 million worldwide. And you've got to remember, Japan doesn't have the same laws as the US. So Toho actually owns movie theatres in Japan. So they will screen their movie in Japan on their own movie theatres and take all of the money. Essentially. Obviously, they still have their running costs, but yeah, essentially. Which is not like they have to do in the US. But even if they did have to take the old 40-50% total, this movie has made a lot of money. Because we had this revealed to us. The director, Takashi Yamazaki, has reportedly denied reports that Godzilla Minus One had a $15 million budget. Now, his words were, and I quote, "I wish it were that much." Now, a lot of people have framed this as, well, he's wishing he had such a small budget. He's wishing it was smaller. In what planet are you living on? Where does a director, where does a producer wish they were given a smaller budget? Never in a million years does that happen. It's also not really normal language convention. And it will show you the actual quote in a minute, but if you're discussing something, oh, hey, this reported budget, you're not going to go, yeah, I wish it was that much. When you're talking about something, you'd want it to be less than. You just wouldn't do it. It's just not, it's not normal language in the way that the context is laid out. So this was brought to us by Kaiju number 14 over on Twitter. So he's basically getting the acclaim for this, but it was actually tweeted out by someone else, and he just pressed translate over on the well, over on Twitter, basically. So this was here. So he found it, obviously. So, yeah, kudos to him. But if we translate this, I went to Tokyo Comic Con. As soon as I entered the venue, there was a talk show by director Takashi Yamazaki, and I got my money's worth of admission. Lots of topics about Godzilla -1. We also talked about Juvenile and Urusei Yatsura. I don't know where the production costs for -1 came from. As they say in the US, it makes me sad to think, quote, I wish it were that much. Yeah. So no, he wish it was that much, because it's a lot less. And Takashi Yamazaki is basically, you know, in terms of the budgets he's been given in the past, it's always within the $10 million range, essentially. And so this Kaiju number 14 has been sort of, you know, coming around here saying these kind of things. You know, if you're looking, well, replying to people, sorry. So if you're looking at Shin Godzilla was $15 million, Shin had more action, craziness, but the CGI and rendering in -1 is so much more realistic and seamless. Its pound for pound looks better than most Hollywood blockbusters. I would have guessed it was a $20 to $35 million at least, but it looks $80 to $100 million. No, it was less. More like $10 to $13 million based on the budgets given to Yamazaki for his previous films, because of what he's had before and what he's also worked with Toho before. Again, more like $10 to $15 million, blah, blah, blah. So it's very much this $10 to $13 million range. He did not get, again, $15 million budget. It's crazy. And he helped with the CGI, actually. He supervised the VFX. So it's literally VFX from him. And so he's allegedly come out and said these things in the past in terms of what he's able to do. And you've got to remember, the wages in Japan are not great. They're not great at all. So the VFX company for -1 gives minimum wage to employees. Shirogumi. So they're not, that's why it's so cheap, because they're on minimum wage in Japan anyway. And again, loads of other people are like, oh, maybe he's misunderstanding it. It's like, no, he knows the equivalent, you know. He knew its equivalent in JPY to deny it. $50 million might even include marketing, which would be insane. No, it's entirely inaccurate, and Yamazaki seemed saddened by the claim. Like, actually saddened, because he's like, no, I did this for a lot less. Like, it, you know, be even more amazed, essentially, is what he's saying. And that, yeah, this also sounds like it could mean the budget was more. He's already said on Twitter it wasn't. So for such a tiny budget, he's able to do such a good job. It is just incredible. I mean, look at it. I tweeted this out. Side note, follow me over on Twitter, @MissDateReviews. And I tweeted this out because I was like, you know, the Marvel's over $200 million and looks like a dog's dinner, loses cash. Godzilla stomps in for less than $30 million and earns bank and profit, because it has. Toho is embarrassing Hollywood right here, because they are truly embarrassing Hollywood. Amazing stuff. Also my dog. But anyway, that's it. That's all I've got to say. Just wrecking Hollywood, and I love it. So yeah, less than $15 million. Less than $15 million. Crazy. Just what you get, is it? Like, this is the issue with everyone unionizing in Hollywood. The money keeps going up and up and up and up and up. And generally speaking, it's only going to, well, the heads of these production houses, or has been for a while. I guess they're unionizing now. They're trying to get some of it. But these VFX houses get so much money, and they get nothing for it, or the studios get nothing for it. I mean, if I was Disney, I'd be embarrassed right now. And Godzilla -1 is getting in the running for an Oscar for VFX. Yeah, I can believe that. Anyway, drop your thoughts down below. Cheers, take care, bye bye now.